This is Sister Mary Lou. We just finished the Laudato Si week, May 24 to May 31. We have an upcoming World Environment Day, June 5. This is again another opportunity for us to see, judge, reflect, and take actions. How we can take care of our common home, and we can take care of our most vulnerable brothers and sisters impacted by the climate crisis. And who is not? The only difference is that they are the one mostly suffering. Usually, they do not have options. Plus the endangered species, and we can be the voice for them by taking action and advocating for them. I also would like to invite you to read my article. Perhaps some of the things that I'm practicing may be applicable to you. Perhaps you will be inspired to do something else. Thank you. God loves you. Laudato Si.
Ask you a few questions. What do you think of sustainability?
Sustainability is something, and to me, as far as whatever you take from the environment, you give back without harming it, and without bringing, basically, whatever you take from the environment, make sure that it's always going to be there. So if you fish or crab or do oysters, you make sure you don't take no more than what you need, and make sure that is enough for everyone and for it to grow back and always to be there. Same way like farming, but in a different way. It's more like having orchards. So I would say orchards are a great example of sustainability.
Orchards.
Yeah.
And what do you think of climate change, Blaine?
Personally, I see it in my time, as far as migrations of fish, the seasons, how they've changed just since I've been here since '83 in Virginia Beach. They used to have snow every year, and I noticed the summers are getting hotter. And if you just look at basic facts without having a judgment or a preconceived notion, just look at facts, you will see that the past 2 years have been the hottest summers or the hottest years on planet Earth since we started recording it.
So you really can see the difference, like big difference in terms of the temperature.
Yes, if you look at, like I travel to Colorado, even if you look at the glaciers in Mount Evans, I went there and they had pictures of, over a certain amount of time, how much glacier would I'm not going to use the word dissipate, but would basically melt.
So you've seen it, the melting glaciers?
Yeah, melting glaciers in Colorado. Now, a lot of people don't know there's glaciers in Colorado.
Really?
Yeah, so I've seen the glaciers melt over a certain amount of time within the past 25 years compared to the last 100 years.
Wow.
And now the glaciers are almost gone. And some of the glaciers would reconstitute themselves with the snow. And you would barely see any movement. But over the past 30 years, those glaciers have they pretty much almost lost all the glaciers in Colorado.
Wow. And on a personal level, what do you do for sustainability and climate change?
I try to limit my carbon footprint. And a lot of people don't know what that is. They use it, but that's in everything you do as far as walking, driving. If you can ride your bike 3 miles instead of taking your car, that's part of limiting your carbon footprint on this planet. So that's stuff like that I do.
So you bike?
Yes. Yeah. Not electric bike either. So
I have a question for you both. What is sustainability for you, Michael?
I guess sustainability for me is to use things smartly so that you can reuse them. Also to take advantage of the things that make electricity for us for free, such as the sun, wind, wave generation, and other natural ways of making electricity.
So talking about that electricity, Brenna, what is it in your house that makes use of renewable source of energy? I have heard that you have something really cool here.
We have 41 solar panels. So on both sides of our roof, we have solar panels.
41.
41, which is more than most people have, but we have a ranch, so we have an L-shaped house. So we're able to put solar panels on both sides.
Do you have to replace your roof for that?
No, our roof was in good condition, so we did not.
Got it. Brenda, for you, what is sustainability? Do you have anything to add?
Sustainability is just using things that other people can use, that they can use again, instead of throwaway products. I alter my clothes. I use
We
paper
use
bags
towels instead of
we
napkins.
use I use hand towels and or cloth napkins, and we have a bidet. And
that's really cool.
For my craft business, I use brown paper bags that can be used again. They're plain and don't have anything on them, so people can use them again.
And I know in one of our video, we made this products that you have. Can you talk about what sustainability in your product right here?
These are used. I make these with basically throwaway wood. Like a lot of crafters would just basically throw away this wood, but I try to use as much of the piece of wood as possible. I made a bigger product on this wood, and then because these are so small, I figure out how to put it on the sheet and use up as much wood as I can. So
that's really awesome. And also, I know you have a choice between plastic and paper.
Oh,
and
right here.
What did you use here?
Oh, this you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, I use bags to put them in, but I don't like to use. I like to use something that someone can use again. So I buy these off the internet. They're more expensive, but it's not something that someone's going to throw away.
Mm-hmm. And what about this black thing here?
Oh, this is cardboard paper. It's paper, so it's not. You can use that over and over again, and it's recyclable. It's compostable. And then I use the silicone and the metal on the backs. So there's metal and silicone on the back, just because to give people a choice.
That's really cool. What about climate change, Michael? What have you heard about climate change? Can you share with us?
I've heard a lot about climate change, and I think about climate change on pretty a routine basis, because as the Arctic warms and we have more waterway up there, we tend to think about, in my line of work, what's the ramifications of that to ports around the world? How will that affect port cities? How will that affect cities that are close to the coastline? How will that affect our beaches? And we already have houses down in North Carolina at the Outer Banks that are falling into the ocean due to ocean rise. And then, as you see, the storm that we just had, was it Helen? Hitting North Carolina severely. The storms seem more frequent, and they also seem stronger nowadays, because I don't believe we're solving this crisis quickly enough.
Thank you, Michael. Brenna, can you share a little bit more about what you have heard about climate change, or maybe on a personal level, what do you think of climate change?
Climate change, a lot of people don't think it's a real thing, but I mean, summers are hotter, winters are harder. I'm from Detroit, and the winters up there, talking to family members, they're longer. There's more snow. There's more, but the summers are hotter. There's more places up north that are air conditioned now, because the summers are getting hotter and hotter. Like when I grew up, nobody had air conditioning, and now it's more standard. Because.
You want to take her outside?
Okay, that's good. because of climate change. And here, there were days where it was so hot, our pool was so warm it wasn't even refreshing. And that doesn't happen in a normal climate. We're not in Florida. We're in Virginia. We're in the middle of the country. It shouldn't be that hot. The pool water is so hot that it's warm. So
Yeah, thank you. That makes sense. I mean, with the extreme or inconsistency of what was it before and what was it happening in our environment, that's really something to be aware of. So lastly, a parting message. Personally, what do you do for climate change and sustainability apart from the good things that you already have here, Michael?
I think personally, I try to vote for the type of person I believe was better for the environment, and make sure that the right people that actually believe in climate change are actually taking action. I try to, utilize companies that I know are more sustainable and working to be better stewards of the environment. And then we try to do little things around the house, like plant native plants, and bring our yard back to more of a natural state, vice the useless yard that most Americans have.
natives don't use as much water.
Yep. So they conserve water. They're easier to grow. They help with the natural environment. They help bring birds and other animals and insects back to the yard, and then which also allows for follow-on bigger mammals to come back to the yard. So, and it regenerates the natural environment.
That makes sense. So, for so many things that you have here in terms of sustainability and climate change, Brenna, I mean, where do you get all of this information?
Different sources online. You try to make sure your sources are good sources, kind of peer reviewed, and just from sources we know are what's the word?
Backed by science.
Backed by science, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Any parting message, Brenna, for sustainability personally and systemically?
Just one person can't make a change by themselves, but if other people see one person doing something, it's kind of like the starfish. The little kid throwing the starfish out into the ocean. It did make a difference for all of them, but one person can make a difference for some things. You're not going to change it by yourself, but doing little things for yourself will make a change in the long run.
Wow, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hola, quiero mostrarte mis 3 arbolitos bonsai. Estoy orgullosa de ellos. Mira cómo van creciendo. Tienen 2 meses y medio y espero verlos fuertes, grandes y fuertes. Todos por la vida. Feliz semana de Laudato Si.
This is our compost. We try not to waste any leftover food or scraps. We bring them here and we keep them turned, and they create very, very rich, wonderful soil for our garden and our plants.